The Fairly OddParents was one of the OG animated series that we watched when we were kids, and it ran for 10 good seasons since 2001 with more than 290 episodes. It was about a 10-year-old boy who had two fairy godparents that granted him wishes to solve his everyday problems. Some episodes ran for 10 minutes while others went for 20 to 40 minutes, and the characters were very many in such a way that I can't discuss them all in one video. I will discuss some of the most recurring characters, from the adults to the kids, and we are going to discuss who they were in this series. We shall also get to see the beautiful people behind the scenes who voiced the characters, and we shall see who they are and what other characters they have voiced in their career.
I'm not gonna take any crud from bullies! Yikes! Yay! Oh, they're Timmy!
There was this character called Dr. Rip Studwell, who was a fairy doctor that had numerous jobs in the doctor's office. He was a narcissistic fairy who mostly spoke highly of his appearance, and he even winked at himself on the mirror while boasting about his shiny teeth. He was also an unprofessional doctor who knew very little about fairy diseases, and he was known to give strange and embarrassing medical tests to his patients. He wore glasses just for the dramatic effect, and he even used a toupee to hide his baldness. His voice was from Butch Hartman, who is an American animator and producer. He was the one who actually created this entire show, and some of his other works were creating series like Danny Phantom as well as Bunsen is a Beast.
No, it's not. Cosmo's fagiggly gland is far from fine.
Cosmo was one of Timmy's and Chloe's fairy godparents, who appeared alongside his wife called Wanda and son called Periwinkle. He had very little intelligence and was sort of a dimwit, but his actions were usually based from good intentions. He had chaotic and excessive energy and never allowed logic to go to his head, and most of his actions led to disasters due to lack of thoughts and planning. And since he never had intelligence, he rarely followed fairy rules, and this led to him granting dangerous wishes without thinking them through. He nevertheless loved his wife Wanda, and he could even be extremely jealous if other men like Cosmo flirted with her. He was voiced by Darren Norris, who is an American actor that also voiced characters like Mr. Turner, Jorgen von Strangle, and Anti-Cosmo in this same show.
The good news is I've named my nickel Philip. It's a girl nickel.
Wanda, on the other hand, was the wife of Cosmo and the mother to Periwinkle. She was the brains of the family and the most intelligent member of the group. She was the one who oversaw the wishes that Timmy wanted, and she even had the ability to predict the disastrous consequences of the wishes that his husband released to the young Timmy. She acted as the mother figure to Timmy, and she cared for him deeply just like her own son. She mostly nagged Timmy and Cosmo when it came to responsibilities, and she could even become hot-tempered when the rules of magic were not being followed. Her motherly voice was produced by Suzanne Blakesley, who is an American voice actress, and she also voiced women like Wanda and Mrs. Turner in this show.
I don't want to be a crab all the time. It's not their job to make your life fun.
The main boy of the show was Timmy Turner, who was a 10-year-old kid that lived in the town of Dimmsdale with his parents. And he also had an evil babysitter called Vicki, and also fairy godparents who we have already discussed. He was a demanding kid who always wished for things that were based on his own vanity or to be popular, and he ignored the potential consequences that came with the wishes. But even with his selfishness, Timmy was generally a good kid who cared for Cosmo and Wanda, and he sometimes used his wishes to save the world when it was in danger. He acted first and thought later, and this kind of behavior brought more bad than good in his life, and this was a way that the creators of the show hinted of the kid having ADHD. His innocent little voice was from the great Tara Strong, who is the greatest voice actress of our generation. I have already made a video of all her cartoon characters and voices in animations which you could watch after this.
Cosmo, you need to be more careful about what you change into. Alright, what's going on? Why do you keep changing?
There was a boy called Chester McBadbat who was one of Timmy Turner's best friend. Despite living in poverty with his father in a trailer park, he was remarkably cheerful and always made the most with what he had. He was fiercely loyal to Timmy, and he mostly joined him in his misadventures and fun activities. He was known for having poor hygiene, like eating garbage and wearing shabby clothes, but he had a fun-loving personality which made him to enjoy pranks and games that other people wouldn't play. The only thing he feared the most was girls, especially Timmy's babysitter called Vicki. He was voiced by Frankie Muniz, who is an American actor and a professional stock car racing driver. He will always be remembered in Malcolm in the Middle, where he played as Malcolm, and he is now a husband to his wife since 2020.
Dude, boys like comics, girls like dolls, boys like...
Vicki was a 16-year-old girl who used to babysit Timmy when the parents were not around. She was a sadistic and evil person who showed no remorse for her actions, and she found pleasure in ruining children's lives by being a bad babysitter. She fooled Timmy's parents by hiding her wicked nature behind a facade of a responsible and sweet teenager in order to keep her job. She was mainly driven by the greed for money, and she even forced the children like Timmy to perform her chores while she did nothing. She was voiced by the beautiful Gray Delisle, who is a legend in voice acting. She also voiced Tootie in this show, and the best character she voiced was Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
You might have ruined my business and my summer! Hey! This microphone uses technology!
The main antagonist was a man called Mr. Denzel Crocker, who was the miserable and mentally unstable elementary school teacher of Timmy. He was entirely convinced that fairies existed even despite the rest of Dimsdale, who viewed him as completely insane. He was also a mean-spirited teacher who loved failing his students and giving them an F for no reason at all. And when he was not in the classroom, he was busy inventing devices to steal magic and fuel his selfish ambitions for power. His obsession with fairies came from when he lost Cosmo and Wanda when he was a kid, and it left him with a twisted and a hunchback appearance which caused him to be bitter about his miserable life. He was voiced by Carlos Alazraqui, who is an American actor and comedian. He was the voice of Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life, and we also discussed him as the voice of Winslow in Cat Dog.
Fairy godparents! Fairy godparents! Fairy godparents! Fairy godparents!
Francis was a bully at Dimsdale Elementary School who terrorized Timmy and his friends, and he was a major antagonist in the series. He found enjoyment in torturing other kids, like giving them wedgies and eating their lunch money, and he was a stereotypical bully like we always saw in movies. He was also very unintelligent when it came to school and life in general, and what made him famous was the fact that every kid was afraid of him. He acted for no reason other than being mean, and he mostly targeted weak boys like Timmy and Chester. But even despite being a strong bully, he was just a lonely kid who did not know any other way of expressing himself. His voice was from a lady called Faith Abrahams, who is an American voice actress who loves voicing gruffy characters in cartoons, and she also appeared in Psychonauts of 2005 as well as Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I'm not falling for that one, Turner. A brick wall? Where? Oh, that's pretty noble of you.
Foop was the anti-fairy counterpart and side effect of Poof, and he was also the son of Anti-Cosmo and Anti-Wanda. Unlike his father, Foop was genuinely evil and had the aim to destroy the fairies. His only problem was that he was overconfident and arrogant in his abilities, and almost everything he did was undone by the good fairies. He spoke with a polite and sophisticated British accent, and his main motivation was to eliminate Poof due to intense jealousy over Poof being the more popular baby. He was voiced by Eric Bauza, who is a Canadian voice actor that is popularly known for voicing Looney Tunes characters. He was also the voice of Baby Fozzie in Muppet Babies from 2018 to 2022.
Now, to wow them with my amazing auditory skills. If anyone knows how to win the hearts...
And the final character we shall discuss today is AJ, who was one of the best friends of Timmy and Chester. He was considered a super genius by his friends, and he was the only student who seemed to pass tests in Mr. Crocker's class. He had a secret high-tech laboratory in his bedroom where he was capable of creating complex inventions like time machines and other wholesome items. And even though he was more intelligent than Timmy and Chester, he loved them to a point where he stalled his own academic advancements in order to remain in the same grade as them. He was voiced by Gary Leroy Gray, who is an American actor and voice actor. He also voiced a character called Charlie in Clifford the Big Red Dog.
I'm sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Turner, but Timmy's not here. We haven't seen him since school.